17.
My friends, and welcome back to a night vlog. This is kind of like a pajama party, kind of a sit down nighty night, I guess bedtime story we could call it. I don't have my tree on. What I'm thinking is maybe I should have my tree on for this, so let me go ahead and turn on my tree and then I will be right back. And welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. This one is going to be a cozy night vlog. You are a bit far away from me, so I hope the lighting is okay. I know it's very ambient in here. I did turn the tree on to help with a little bit of light. So hopefully you guys can hear me and see me. I do have a fan on though. I do want to say that. So I might have to run my audio through it and enhancers to get rid of the fan sound. But how are you guys? Welcome to day, whatever's on the screen. Because I have been filming all day and it is so late at night. I have been running on fumes lately. I'm just so tired. As a new creator, I have just been working a lot. I feel like trying to get my videos out, trying to get my hauls done. And I thought I would just sit down, have some, I don't even know what's in here. I think it's Diet Dr. Pepper. It's not like a lot of caffeine. It's the strawberry one. So I don't know if that has caffeine in it, but it doesn't matter because I have ADHD and that works the opposite on me. So there's that. But I thought I would come in and kind of share a little bit of a story time with you guys for December and what sort of Christmas time and the month of December means to me. So let's go ahead and run the intro and I will be right back in 2 and 2 to talk more about December and Christmas and all that is in my bubble when Christmas time comes around. Okay, you guys, we're back and I just thought I would do a night vlog in bed, a bedtime story, if you will. It's funny, you know, like I did this, I feel like I remember, like, I always have so many plans when it comes to vlogs, especially something like this, because it's very rare that I ever do anything like this. I remember in 2022, one of my goals for that year was to start a playlist, like a bedtime story playlist, and literally read a series of books over the course of a year before we went to bed. So if you guys like that idea, let me know and we will find a book series that we can actually read together and I will read it out loud and then you guys can comment, let me know what you think. And we can do like a couple of chapters at a time per video and we can find a series. One of those series that I wanted to do at that time was like, I knew I wanted to do a romance novel, but I wasn't sure what that was going to look like and what it was going to entail. And I wanted to read like a motorcycle, like a biker kind of story in the romance department. And I did. I found a series and it had like, I think it had like 10 books in it. But when I started reading it, it was very graphic, girl. So I was like, oh crap. So I'm not big on romance novels. I mean, I don't mind reading them, but I have to be able to read them out loud here on YouTube. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know if you like that idea, just period, about me reading out loud and you guys just kind of commenting. Yeah, I can definitely do that. And I think it's really fun because it's not hard to edit, you know, when you're just reading something out loud. And of course I would have the book here on the screen next to us. And then we just read, you know, a few chapters per video. And I think it'd be really super fun. And I'd like to read the actual book. I do have a Kindle, but I'd rather read it like from a book, you know, from a series. So let me know if you guys like that idea and if you have any suggestions. And then we will definitely do that come January. We'll start in January and we will go all the way to the end of the year. And then when Vlogmas comes around, we can talk about what we've read as a part of Vlogmas, like, you know, during the countdown to 24 days and what we've done and stuff, so on and so forth. Or we can do it like we can talk about it on the last week of December, because a lot of people do their like year. It's not resolutions anymore. I think it's like goals and like, you know, things they like to achieve and stuff. And I do have plans to talk to you guys about that as well. But yeah, I wanted to do a bedtime story. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Christina. I have been on YouTube since 2009. I have had a series of different channels and different genres. I've tried pretty much every genre you can think of. And I've done well on some and not on others. This is the genre I like the most in terms of vlogging. Obviously, this is the main channel, so I'm just doing this for Vlogmas specifically, but I will post this particular video on my vlog channel because it's just personal. So I will definitely, you know, share this video on there too as like exact. But yeah, I've been on YouTube for a long time and a lot of things have happened, and it's so interesting to, you know, to reflect and look back and remember when I came on, you know, when I started to think about being on YouTube and saw other people that inspired me to do it and how I started and where I ended up, if that makes any sense. And I've tried so many different areas of YouTube. That's why I just call them genres, because they're categories. And I don't know what it is with social media and me, but I always feel like I'm failing, you know, and I don't think it's that at all, really. I think it's more or less consistency, and me worrying too much about the outcome of something rather than letting it take a life of its own and become something. And I think that's where I've always made my mistake. So shopping is something that I've always had fun doing, and so that's why we're here on this channel. I've always felt as a content creator over time, watching other people learning, you know, just learning this industry, that having a vlog channel at the same time is a good thing to do, because then you can kind of share a more personal day-to-day part of yourself. And then, you know, of course, if you have something that you want to share specifically that is sort of straight and narrow, then that should be your sort of primary focus. And then your vlogs can just be relaxed and you don't have to worry about time and you don't have to worry about the presentation of them so much. Obviously vlogging's, you know, it's a craft, to be honest. I will tell you that. So it's not, I think it's harder than people think, because even when my friends do it for Vlogmas, they're like, vlogging is hard. I mean, I feel like the people that I know on YouTube now, they don't really show themselves on camera all that much. They do, but what their focus is in their category is completely different as to where I would like to see myself. So when we talk about the journey of social media, it is very different for each one of us, because we all have something different in common. You know, like our goals are different in reference to what we want to do and what we want to share. And that's always been something that I had to think about, you know, like what did I want to do? But as far as December and Christmas and Vlogmas, I didn't even know what it was, first of all. And then I learned what it was and I started doing it alone. And, you know, I had to Google it at the time and I learned what it was, and it was a countdown to Christmas. And it was just sharing anything related to Christmas for consecutively 24 days up until Christmas Day. And so I feel like this year is one of the first years I've ever really kept it all about Christmas. And even everything I'm sharing, I feel like people want to see more, but it's hard for me to do that because I don't have little ones, you know, and I don't have grandkids per se. So I don't have like this big family function that happens in my life. I don't have like a lot of people to think about to, you know, get-togethers and gift giving, secret Santas and all that stuff. I don't have a 9-to-5 anymore for a very long time. So, you know, that's something also. So it's always just me, you know? And so I have to become, I feel like for someone that's over 40 or even over 50, when you're vlogging, it's kind of interesting because you have to really truly be a creative because your life really slows down as you get older. Some people anyway. And you have to make it interesting. So I feel like that's, you know, kind of interesting. But as far as December goes, it's a reflective month because I have lost a lot of my family in this month over the years. It's obviously now in 2025, you know, moving forward, it's easier to reflect back on it now. Yesterday, I believe on the 15th of December, because these are the wee hours of the 16th, you guys. Like, I think it's like 2:30 in the morning or something. That's what made me want to do this before I went to sleep. But I believe yesterday, forgive me if I have the date wrong, you know, don't judge because it's been a long time, and I always get the date confused. But I think yesterday, the 15th of December, was the anniversary of my oldest brother's passing. I have brothers and sisters, and I am the only child of the wife that my father was married to the longest. And so I was always in the middle, if that makes sense. Because there were children that came after me and children that existed before me. So my mom raised my father's children from his first marriage. And then my father and mother got divorced. And then my dad got married again and had children later in his life. And so those are the siblings that I don't necessarily speak to anymore. I was very closely connected to them when my father was alive, you know, for the sake of him. You know, we all had a relationship anyway, but it was closer and tighter because of my father at that time. So December is a sensitive month because my oldest brother passed away in a car accident in 2000. My brother passed away in 2008, I believe. And I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was December 15th, 2008. I could be off. It could be today, December 16th. I would have to go back and look at his memorial thing because I always get these 2 days mixed up and I feel bad because I forget. But I even from the time that he passed, because I think the reason why I get confused, I believe, is because he passed away in the evening. He passed away at like 9:30 at night. And so it was very unfortunate and very unforeseen. It was one of those just random, you don't want to get that phone call. And my brother traveled for a living, and he had a business where he sold memorabilia, which was like, you know, posters and t-shirts and anything pop culture, to be honest. And so he traveled all the time. He was also an actor. And so, you know, throughout the years of him being in, you know, meeting people in the industry and stuff, that was what he would do when he wasn't working. So, that was a hard thing to experience at the time. And of course, you know, 2008, it's been quite a long time now. So it's not as hard. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's on all of our minds this month, but it still is a sensitive month because we've had so many death anniversaries in this month. After my brother passed away in this month, his son's birthday, I believe, is the 18th of December. And his passing, I believe, was the 15th or 16th. So that was a rough time for my nephew. And so, you know, when I think about December, I think about I don't think about it a lot, but it crosses my mind. Just that there was a very large consecutive period of time that our family just experienced nothing but sorrow. So, after my brother passed away, prior to my brother passing away in 2008, my aunt had passed away in 2006. So 2 years before my brother passed, my aunt passed in this month. And I feel like, I think my aunt's passing anniversary was the 26th of December. And to all of the family's dismay, my brother before me passed away also in December. And it was my brother Tim passed away in 2013, on December 27th. So we have a family member anniversary passing on the 15th or 16th. I'll have to check. It's probably across the screen because obviously I probably already showed you who they are and stuff, but we have that anniversary. And then we have my other brother's anniversary on the 27th of December. And like I said, it's been a long time, since that's happened, but it's something that happened in this month. So December is always a weird, you know what I mean? I don't lose my Christmas spirit because it's just such a beautiful time of the year, with everything being so festive and so beautiful and people being creative with how they decorate for Christmas and, just that whole ambient and feeling and all of that, the nostalgia of it all and everything. So it's not really a depressing time for me, I don't feel like, but I do tend to get a little bit moody, I think. And I think my family notices that every year. But yeah, it's just strange. Do you know what I mean? And I think December is also, the winter months are always rough because my father, when he first got ill, he, I think it happened like in the beginning of winter as well. So I always wonder, why am I so sensitive around this time of year and stuff like that? Because there's times when I'll be like a little bit irritable or moody or, just something is off. And it's not, I don't feel like it's seasonal depression. I don't feel like it's seasonal blues. I feel like it's just things we went through that just, I feel like the subconscious notices, if that makes sense. So, yeah, so that's, that's kind of my story. My brother before me, like I said, passed away of substance abuse, I believe. And then my other brother passed away in a car accident, as mentioned. So, and then my father, we lost my father in May of 2018. My father had Alzheimer's, and I was a caregiver for many, many years. I took care of my dad for a long, long time, at an early age. I think I started stepping in and taking care of my dad, not knowing he was getting sick, but I think I started taking care of my dad when I was 36. And my dad passed away in May of 2018 at the age of 77. And it was a rough go with that. I did it for 14 years and I was fairly young when it started happening. My kids were already grown, so they were already adults. And, I was able to commit, to taking care of my dad. And it was one of those things that was just really sensitive and really hard because I didn't know how to do it, but I learned, and I did a lot of research and a lot of reading. And so my father primarily had diabetes. He had heart disease. He had, which led to heart attacks and strokes and things like that. And that's what caused the dementia. Alzheimer's, dementia is the actual umbrella. But with that, that was a rough go. And it was very, very strenuous and very exhausting. That was really hard to do. And so that's partially why I'm a night owl. So that's why I wanted to share that, because when I tell you guys I film at night or I'm up late or, it's like my body's been on this clock for a long time, and I try to get myself back on a productive early morning schedule. And it's very difficult to do that because I've never really been a morning person. And when you have to take care of an elderly ill person like that doesn't sleep very much, and you're always constantly on their schedule, it's hard to undo, you know what I mean? that kind of clock in your body. And it's been a it's been a long time since my dad passed away now, because that was 2018, and now here we are at 2025. So I've had a long time to adjust and try to get myself back in, a regular productive routine. But for some reason, I always gravitate back to that graveyard shift. So I don't know why. But yeah, so it's Christmas means a lot, I mean, it's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of it's a good time, but it's a weird time, if that makes sense, because I'm sure all of us as family members singly remember the rough patch we had. And it was really weird, because it happened so many years in a row, and it was just crazy. Do you know what I mean? And so now, things have settled down, and now my mom is getting older. And I think one of the things with me as a person is that I've lost so many people in my life closely that I just am very sensitive about my mom. I'm my mom's only daughter, and I have committed to being there for her the way I was there for my father. And I really don't think much, like when I talk about my life or where I live or who I live with or how I live with my mom. And, I'm very nonchalant about it, because it's just precious to me to be here with her until she gets, as long as she needs me, really, to be honest. And I've made it a point to structure and to shape my life around my mom now, as I did for my dad, but my mom is much more healthier. She's much more motivated. She's very mobile. She's starting to feel some things now that weren't there before. So we're investigating some of these little ailments she's got now. But she's still real active. She's still strong. She's still mentally strong. And she is very productive and stuff, I mean, she has some issues with her hip, I think, at this point. We're trying to figure out what it is. She's been to the doctor for it a few times, and I think we need to get her to a chiropractor to find out if it's like a joint issue or if she's got arthritis, or trying to figure out what it is. But she started having some issues with her leg. I want to say it happened maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, and it was subtle and gradual when it started, and now it's gotten to the point where she's literally she's not limping so much, but she is having trouble with it. And they haven't determined quite what it is yet, so that's kind of how my life is now, and I don't have a 9-to-5. I haven't worked that kind of a job for a long time. My background in general is, gosh, girl, I have been a jack of all trades. I've done everything. I've worked in IT. I've worked in healthcare. I've been a caregiver, as I shared. I've done a lot of things. The social media thing was just something I was interested in and got intrigued by it, and then just started doing it. And then over time, just took a lot of classes and courses. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched any YouTubers that say that they have courses or anything like that, but over time, in the early days, I paid for a lot of courses to learn this industry. And everything I've learned to date has been more or less just trial and error, but also with the guidance of other channels that teach this kind of thing, So I have a lot of fun, knowing that I'm a creative by nature. And so that's, it's always fun to edit videos, make them and stuff like that. And it's hard. It's a very competitive industry, and it's very hard to get noticed because there's so many people on the platform. And you never know if you're going to find your people, if that makes sense, So it's always been one of those things where it's a hit and miss. And that's why when I say I've had a series of different channels, I really have, you know what I mean? I've tried everything, but I also tend, when it comes to social media, get in my own way, because I'm always thinking that I'm not doing things enough or doing things quite as efficient as I should, or, instead of just letting it be, I'm an overthinker, and I probably put too much emphasis on things that don't need to be focused on. And so I think some of that gets in my way, of just creating content, being consistent. I also get burned out very easily as well because I'm such a perfectionist. I'm trying to make things better. Like today, it's so interesting because today I was, filming Vlogmas. I'm behind per usual, but I got in a mood today thinking, okay, I'm just going to film all day. I do that once in a while. And so I'll get up and I'll just be really super hyper focused of recording videos. And I was recording a day that you may or may not have already seen. I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but I was filming for Vlogmas before it ends. And I was watching my own video. I just had my own channel on because I really didn't know what to play. And every single time I see my videos, I'm like, oh my God, the color's off, or oh my God, I'm grainy, or oh my God, I talk too much, or oh my God, I never get to the point, or oh my God, I'm so boring, or you know what I mean? Like that. So I never know if one of the reasons why I struggle on YouTube is it really that, or is it just me getting in my own way and just, because I know that I've learned to teach myself to focus on the content rather than on being good enough or being likable or something like that. I try to just make sure that I'm making, decent content. I mean, I know that sometimes I feel like from what I've learned so far in the last year or so in 2025 is, people have a short attention spans. You need to make the video interesting within the first 10 to 15 seconds in order to keep them there. And then, they usually click off between 30 seconds and a minute. And, it's just crazy, like the stats that you can learn about when it comes to making videos. So, I have a lot of creators that I watch that continue to inspire me. So I don't feel like I ever want to quit. YouTube is my home platform. So I love it so much. I feel like it is always the golden egg of social media platforms. I feel like it's the most reliable and the most sustainable. And I love all the other platforms also. My second love is Instagram. My third love is Facebook in terms of creating content. I don't use any social media platform for personal use anymore. I used to when I was a little bit younger. I did because I was in the weight loss community. So I was losing weight and I was feeling good and cute and confident. And so I would take a lot of selfies and it's not. Now that I'm getting older, I don't really put a lot of focus on that anymore. And I've never been a big frilly person like that's putting my hair together all the time, or, you can see that for sure. Like that I don't wear a lot of makeup and it's weird when you don't do that because when you film yourself and you see yourself on camera, I've seen myself age over time. I watch older videos that I used to make way back in the day and I'm like, wow, it's just crazy how old I am, and how long I've been doing this. But I tell you what, every single time I get on a momentum of getting somewhere with this thing, getting to the point where I could maybe work with brands or get monetized or so, I get in my own way. And I always think it's not good enough. There's not enough growth there. Here, let me just scratch, erase it and start over and start over. And that's kind of been a pattern of mine for many years. And that's why I feel like now I think I've learned, I've said this many times, okay, but I really do think I've learned that it's just it's either not gonna happen or it will happen when it's supposed to happen. And I think I just kind of made peace with that, like I'm pretty much just feel comfortable sharing my knowledge and wisdom I've learned on this platform over time with other creators. And I'm very, honored that I can share my own just very honored and, happy that I can help somebody that's kind of doing well and that can only get further up over time. So it brings me joy, to help people with the platform because I love it so much. And it's an ever turning wheel, this social media experience. It's just, it's continuously evolving and it's very similar to working in like IT or customer service, to be honest, because it's just always changing. It's like, if you stop for a minute, you're going to miss something. Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting the way social media is just constantly evolving. And it's so funny because I watch a lot of lifestyle creators, and one of the creators that I watch recommended this young girl that has a podcast that talks about growing your social media, period. And hearing her perspective is good because I think she's in her late 20s, but it's nice to hear like someone really telling the raw truth about how social media changes and what you really need to do to keep up. Because, I mean, not to say that her word is the holy grail, but at the same time, it's like being a Gen X social media creator or, content creator and trying to, evolve this thing that I've started is interesting because I'm glad that I'm able to watch other creators that are just a little bit younger than me that can give me insight on what they're learning as well, and a lot of the creators that I watch, they come from all walks of followings, if that makes sense. Like, I have a friend that has 145,000. I have another friend that has 25,000. I have another friend that has, I think, 10,000. And then I met people over time, that have a 2,000 like myself or 500, or I don't think I've ever met anybody that has over 200,000, but I've been pretty lucky as far as being able to share what I know with other creators that can grow on other platforms. And then now it's nice to kind of go full circle where they can come back and say, hey, this really worked for me. Thank you for giving that piece of information because now I used it somewhere else and it really did well. And now look where I am and I want to share that with you. And so it's really nice the way it can kind of pay it forward and kind of boomerang back to you so you can still learn how to do this. You know what I mean? Because I've been here a long, long time. And I've often said that, I feel like a ghostwriter because like, ghostwriter, like a songwriter or someone that writes a movie but doesn't get the record, what I mean, is never in front of the camera. Instead, the celebrity or the artist is receiving the most of the acknowledgement, I guess, because they performed they played out the task or whatever. So but I like the fact, it's funny, I think, because I'm always saying I want this so bad. You might always say that to myself, but then I'm so grateful that my views, that I do have like small views, because I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like I hear my friends and I see their numbers and I'm like, wow, that's great. Like it's crazy, but there's so much opportunity that comes with growth. So I do hope that I get there one day, but I'm such a perfectionist. Oh my God. Even tonight, just to give you an example, like I was filming my decorating. Girl, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to create something pretty to me. What I think is pretty, probably half the planet doesn't think is pretty, but I was filming what I did this year. So I would remember for next year. And also I probably want to use some of those clips in my future videos. And I was just thinking to myself, the camera's crooked. The camera's not this. It's going to be grainy. It's going to be this, it's, in my head. And I really have to get, I really have to get those spots out of my head, because I will sit there forever. And I constantly have anxiety about how, I struggle. I can tell you, man, I've had this channel since 2024 and I never get comments. Never. And I'm wondering, is it me? Am I offending somebody? Am I unlikable? Am I just not enough, to be here? Should I just stop? Should I just quit? Because my engagement, I just don't get any engagement. And I mean, I do get people once in a while that will come over and comment, but for some reason, I just, for the life of me, cannot create a community. And I don't know why. And it's so interesting, but that will never stop me, because the idea of creating something is just it's too entertaining to me. It's like food to me. You know what I mean? Like I just love learning how to create stuff, and I love editing. That's my favorite part of making videos. And it's just so cool, like to learn different things and to know that I'm still not too old to do it. Do you know what I mean? So I just wish I was a little bit more creative in my delivery. I wish I was a little bit more interesting. I wish I could get the energy to care more about my physical appearance. And I've said that so many times, like over the years, I've said, oh, I'm going to create this challenge. I'm going to do my hair and do my makeup in front of every video, or, I'm going to dress cute in every video. And it never happens. It totally never happens. But I really have big plans for 2026. I've started since the summer of 2025. I really focused in on being consistent. And December is a big month for a lot of creators, you know, because it's the holidays and that's where a lot of the content just grows, you know, your channels and stuff. And it's such a beautiful time to create videos as well, because you can really, really kind of shine, you know what I mean, when it comes to this. And, you know, I mean, it depends on what genre you want to be in, but for lifestyle creators, it's just, you get to share, you know, gift ideas and decorating and shopping and deals and clearance and, you know, your home and different ways of doing things. You know, I watch DIYers as well that flip furniture. I watch vintage people that create things, build things, go to flea markets. I mean, all that stuff is just so great. You know, it's so beautiful, and I learn so much from them. So I'm so grateful for YouTube, period. But I really hope that I can continue into 2026, the consistency that I've built since the summer, because I really got my mojo back. I just go through these lulls, you know, of like, do I really want to do this? Or, you know what I mean? Like, can I do this? But I really do feel like it's just consistency, because I see the growth, you know, over time. And I just love Vlogmas. It's so fun. You guys, I have tried everything in this industry. I've tried making merch. I've made books. I've made tablets. I've made stickers. I've made, it's crazy, like all the things I've tried in this industry. It's so funny. But yeah, December is it's a fantastic and beautiful month, and it's a sad month, you know, but regardless, that's my story. You know, I mean, I pretty much have been in IT and healthcare for a long time, and being internet savvy and technically savvy is something I enjoy learning all the time. And then just the challenge of create content and learning how social media is evolving, and learning how to turn the tide, you know, with the times, and being an over 50 content creator as well. And then sharing, you know, kind of like my experience of, my kids are full-grown adults now. You know, I'm living with my elderly mother, and what that looks like, and just sharing my little boring life over here in my corner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for listening. If you did, welcome to my bedtime story, girl. It's my cozy bedtime story here. So, yeah, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic holiday season. I know I've said this a few times, well, pretty much in every video, but this whole charity thing of the voicemail line, I saw another content creator do it, and she had such a fantastic and it's such a beautiful experience to watch her videos, and all the people that she's really connected with and got her community to call in and leave just such wonderful, inspirational, Christmas, spiritual voicemails was like so encouraging. And so we can, you know, I presented this idea, you know, of my own to the girls, and but I don't know, I just feel like we shouldn't give up on it. I feel like it's brand new, so it's not really gaining momentum yet. Excuse me, but I feel like eventually it will. So if you guys would like, you can call in and say Merry Christmas to the internet and to the world, and maybe bring out, you know, share some Christmas spirit or maybe some positive energy. And maybe, who knows, you know, it will inspire others to call in, and Santa's inviting you guys to, Santa's listening, if you will. So I hope you guys decide to call the number on the screen and just say Merry Christmas. We've got 9 days left, so hopefully, hopefully we'll get a couple of voicemails, and we can share those in our videos. So thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for listening to my little bedtime story. Girl, it's time to hit the hay and start all over tomorrow. So I hope you guys are staying well. Countdown is here. I'm sure all of you are busy as ever, but let the baking begin, let the gift wrapping begin, and let all of the family festivities begin. I hope all of you guys have a wonderful, wonderful experience with your family this year, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and take your vitamins, girl, because there are a lot of sicknesses going on right now, and you need to stay healthy so you can get through Christmas. All right, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
Well, hello there, and Merry Vlogmas. Santa here, stopping by with a little Christmas magic just for the wonderful subscribers of Couponing for a Cause, Money Saving Megan, Simply Jessica Marie, and Christina from Scratch. Your amazing team has opened a very special Christmas voicemail, one where your voice can spread joy, hope, and holiday cheer to others who truly need it. We're inviting you to call in and leave a message of Christmas cheer, a kind word, a warm wish, or even a cheerful ho ho ho. One simple call can make this season brighter for so many. Go on now. Santa's listening. Will you be on the naughty or nice list? Christmas magic is waiting.